Y'all, it is going to be one busy fall. We have a lot of shows that are going to be out at the same time, and we got a lot of news to talk about today regarding those shows that are coming out. These shows aren't even out yet, and the news cycle is crazy, okay? Crazy. Now, hopefully, you guys were able to catch up on the Love and Marriage Huntsville recap. Please go back and watch that. Really good episode. But right now, we got to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, Married to Medicine, as well as Basketball Wives. So let's get into the Real Housewives of Potomac of it all. Okay, so as you guys know, Mia and Gordon are going through what appears to be a separation. You know how I feel about these sorts of things. I feel like if there's a way we can make it work, let's try to make it work, because ultimately I never want to see, especially like a black family, be torn apart. You know what I'm saying? But it sounds like we're getting the tea from Gordon
Become
about
come a time
exactly
when I
what's going on. And so we're going to discuss this clip that came out from TMZ, and our friends over at TVDs had actually posted the clip. Now, in this clip, it's a clip of Gordon apparently doing an interview with TMZ where he tells TMZ that Mia married him for money, that she has found her soulmate, and is leaving him for an upgrade. So let's get into the tea of it all and take a listen. I did modify this just a bit so that you guys can listen to it here on the tube. Okay, so let's take a listen.
know there's going to come a time when I probably won't be able to satisfy all your needs. I want you to know that I am okay with you finding what you need elsewhere.
Okay, so let's right off the rip, we must acknowledge the fact that when we met Mia on the show, and we met Gordon, really we knew that this was a situation where he was much older, which is not uncommon. Especially, listen, I have lived in Miami, I have lived in Los Angeles, and this is not uncommon to me at all. However, that does give us or a basis for understanding why he would say, "Hey, listen, as an older man, I may not be able to fulfill you in these ways. So if you need to, you can go ahead and have your things. You know what I'm saying? If you need, okay. I'm assuming that's what he's saying here.
Only have two rules. One is don't give me a reason to look for it. Secondly, keep the kids out of it.
Hmm.
As long as you'll do that, I'm fine. Now,
So I guess he was fine. Is it what they call like respectable cheating or something like that? But is it really cheating if you already agree to it? Okay, so I guess it's a situation where don't embarrass me. I'm assuming that's maybe it. Just don't embarrass me. You know what I'm saying? Um,
what really aggravates me through all of this is that I've given her permission, but yet she still chooses to sneak around, chooses to lie, chooses to continually change her story about what's going on and why she's leaving me and this, that, and the other, and actually not even telling me why. What she's told me, well, she's told me that this guy's her soulmate.
so he is indicating that there is another man involved. Let me put the alleged badge up here because we can only go by what he is telling us here in this clip. Okay. So I just want to make that very clear. These are allegations. Okay.
I said, well, babe, you can have the best of both worlds. I've said you can see someone, just don't make it public. Be careful and don't involve the kids. Well, she still was still sneaking around and thinking I didn't know. I mean, I see the phone records. I pay the phone bills. My name's on the account. I see. And I see the calls at 2 o'clock in the morning and the times when I'm away from home and all those kinds of things. So I knew what was going on.
You know what I ain't seen in a long time? My phone record from Sprint. They could be charging me whatever. Now that I think about it, he's smart for looking at these phone records because you never know what they be charging you these days.
You know, she made the choice, I guess, to choose him over me. I do agree that Mia married me for my money and the future that she thought I could provide. Yeah, I absolutely believe her leaving me now is time.
I have a question for the ladies out there, women who watch the channel, and if you are married, if you've been married, or if you plan to get married, do you feel like you marry more for security and stability in a relationship versus, or I mean, is it about I need to be in love with you? You know what I'm saying? Like what's the general consensus for the ladies? That's what I want to know.
Add to the fact that I don't have access to assets and my funds are limited at this point in time, that she now has access to funds. And this guy that she's seeing, she believes has access to funds. And I think she's leaving me for that reason.
Mm. So if you guys will recall, there was a point in time was it last year when we found out that apparently, I don't know if it was Gordon's brother or someone else who was involved in their business had revoked, I guess, access to their ability to, I guess, still make money from the business in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I don't really know how that's possible, um, but I don't have a franchise. So I mean, who am I? So I'm assuming that ultimately is what he is saying has led to where they are in this point in time. We often hear that one of the reasons for marriages not working is finances. It's finances. Um, and this could be a clear-cut example of how that works if we're going by what Gordon says.
She's mentioned that they're going to be buying a house together and doing businesses together and other kinds of things together, which tells me that the interest is based on monetary gain from the relationship.
Mm.
So I absolutely believe that she's leaving me because she sees an upgrade. My desire is to
Hmm.
never, ever, ever be associated with her again beyond our co parenting situation. If we end up getting back together, it would only truly be for some advantage it would give the kids.
Interesting. So I guess in one breath he's saying, he has no interest in ever being associated with her, but then he says, I mean, unless it involves the kids. So I guess maybe that's understandable. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know. Y'all tell me.
It wouldn't be for love on my part, because right now I can't trust her. I don't believe what she says. I don't believe that she loves me.
All right, y'all. And there you have it. It's sad. You just for me, I just don't ever want to see something like this happen. Um, but unless both partners are going off in peace to find their own happiness, but the way it's churning out, I don't know if this will be the last that we hear of this situation, especially as the season continues to. Well, the season hasn't started yet. I mean, when it does. Anyway, shout out to our friends over at TVDs as well as TMZ. We'll keep you updated if there's any more news on this here story. All right, so let's move on to the quad of it all. All right. What's going on with Quad and what's going on with Dr. G? Okay. So I've seen two little pieces of information out in the streets. Okay. Two bits of information that I've seen out in the streets. One, I saw this clip right here on the reality rundown. All right. It's not really a clip, it's more or less, someone asking a question and the reality rundown happening to catch it. So, I don't know if this is a commenter or if it's on Twitter where it was. It looks like it was on Instagram. So why the heck is Quad's ex back? And Quad responds, to try to get under my skin. Laughing emoji. Now, this was the first. Well, it depends. Depends on what information. It depends on what you saw first, okay? Because up until I would say this weekend, I really didn't know how she felt about this whole situation, but I wondered, right? So the next thing we do is we take things over to Dr. Heavenly's YouTube channel. Now, this clip was actually posted onto her Instagram. So that tells me she didn't mind that this bit of information was getting some traction. And when I was watching the video itself, this was one of the parts that stood out to me. So I get it, okay? Because it is the sort of the you always want to promote the clip that's going to get the most people talking, right? So in this clip, Dr. Heavenly is talking to Quad, and she's basically saying that, this whole incident with not really the incident, but this whole idea of having, Dr. G back along with his new wife is probably one of the first instances we've seen of, somebody who has gotten divorced on the show. Their ex has come back to the show with their new fiance and then got married while they were coming back on the show, while the ex is still a part of the cast. And Quad says, for the first time, she's kind of really speaking about this. She felt disrespected. Okay. I'm assuming by the producers, by the network, because, for her, she says they all saw what this situation was when it ended. Right. And so she was not, she doesn't feel like she was considered in um this decision to bring Dr. G back, especially given how things ended and how contentious they were at the end of their run as a couple together on this show. Now, to give you my thoughts on that situation, for me, I just kind of feel like to me, it was super evident that the cast was all here for bringing Dr. G and his fiance at the time around. I mean, because any and every cast member was photographed with them in some way, shape, or form on their Instagram all of a sudden. Like it just was out of the blue. So to me, the writing should have been on the wall for Quad because it was for the rest of us that there was going to be some level of inclusion of Dr. G and his new fiance. Again, at the time, it was his fiance on the show. I mean, to me, it was clear as day. And this was definitely before filming began. But I would assume right around the time that they knew that filming was gonna resume. Um, so if Quad was blindsided by girl, like you must have not had your eyes peeled, okay, onto the internet because I know I did, and I could have told you that, okay. I mean, it just was what it was. It was too much information floating around with everybody posting them for me to sit here and believe that there was no push or um warming us up to this notion. So you should have been warmed up to the notion. But if our production, and I don't know how this came about, I would, if I knew that I was going this route, I would have solidified Quad first. I would have gotten her that contract, gotten her negotiated down to to the signature. She would have been the first person that I got so that there would have been, she would have just had to show up. I mean, if you really wanted to go this route and if you really wanted to, like, I mean, in my opinion, that's what I would have done. And I know it seems a little bit like, yay, I mean, yikes. But to a certain degree, I feel like that's the nature of reality TV. I mean, it is what it is. It's reality TV gold. And, I just feel like anybody with two eyes could have recognized it. Just being honest. Um, But ultimately, it's Quad's choice about whether or not she chose to come back, and it was their choice, the couple themselves. They had a choice in the matter of whether or not to come on the show, and they decided to come on the show. Especially given that, for Dr. G, he knew that this was the place where we last saw him, and what Was reality TV a factor in the demise of their marriage? Who knows? I would have definitely been wary about coming back for it, though. To be honest with you, I ain't gonna even lie. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. I guess we'll find out how things go for both of these. I don't want to say couples, but because clearly they ain't couples no more. For all of these individuals on November the 5th. Okay. Now, some information that you will not have to be waiting much longer on is the feuds that are happening on Basketball Wives. Now, given that the Mia story just kind of broke, I really wasn't intending to include that in today's video. But as it broke, I was like, okay, we got to talk about it. So, what I actually wanted to discuss initially that I'm going to actually include because I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, so I might as well include it today. Um, there is a cast member of Basketball Wives who was not necessarily featured in the main titles. Okay, her name is Cleana Warthon. Now, for those of you guys who do not recall who this person is, I'm going to actually bring up a visual from a few months ago where the Neighborhood Talk posted a video of Basketball Wives newbie Cleana Warthon going off on Jennifer Williams to the point where I don't know if she's chasing Jennifer Williams out. I mean, it's not a chase, it's not a run, it's definitely a slow walk. And I don't know if she was like limping or something like that. I mean, maybe she was just having a hard time with her heel or something. I don't really know. But she's basically telling Jennifer, you were married 10 years ago, no kids, no history, no nothing. Okay. So I wanted to remind you of who she was. Um she is an ex, okay? I would go into the details about who she was married to, but to be honest with you, I mean, it's just a lot. Their history is a lot. Yeah, I mean, she was married to Andre Iguodala, I think that's his name. So well, she was an ex-girlfriend. I don't know if they were married. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. At least I know that she was an ex. So I don't know. I don't know. But they had some huge custody issues going on back in 2016. Okay. That's what I do know. So to bring you guys up to speed to what's happening today, Cleana has joined in on the ongoing beef between Evelyn and Vanessa Ryder. Now, if you watched yesterday's video, we talked about how Vanessa had called Evelyn a homewrecker, right? And Evelyn have responded via a video. And then honestly, they continue to go back and forth on social media. Now, some of that going back and forth, I'm gonna let you guys head on over to reality chat and you can see all of their goings back and forth. I mean, it is so much that honestly, it would take me an entire video to go through. And there are elements that I can't really speak about on YouTube, and that's how deep they go. Okay. I'm talking about charges for arrests and all kinds of other things like that. That's what they go in. That's what they go into. It's deep. And I'm like, has the episode aired and I ain't seen it? Anyway, Cleana basically says this. Who calls a woman of Asian descent? I'm not even gonna say it, basically referring to what Evelyn said about CeeCee back in the day. She says, who puts an animal emoji under a black woman's post? The only difference is one was met with consequences and the other was met with rewards. And then she puts the clown emoji, the poop emoji, and the trash emoji. She says, when loving black uh clunker, but not black women goes wrong. Hashtag when your moment is up. Hashtag washed up. Hashtag hang it up. The ugly cry in 3, 2, 1. Boo hoo hoo B. And then she says, I heart OG. We love you, Queen. At CeeCee Gutierrez. Hashtag Asian Pride. Get the egg off your face. B. Looking for a moment is when you're so washed up you desperately go on a show, get engaged to a stranger for 23 days and no wedding. And then it says hashtag Miss Golf Ball. Now see, it's that last part for me that I'm still trying to figure out. The got engaged to a stranger for 23 days and no wedding. Mm. Oh my God. But it was Brooke Bailey and Jennifer Williams who have come to Cleana's defense. And I'm not surprised at Jennifer, but the Brooke Bailey aspect, I think, is something that we're going to see play out on the show. She says, mental case needs to mind her business. I punched you in your face and drowned you with my margarita. You're unhinged and an addict. We saw the pills fall out of your purse. You're mad, you're weird, and tried to trauma bond with me over my daughter passing and my brother passing. B, I don't know you. You're weird AF for trying to bring my daughter up. I didn't F with you from the moment. Then you lied and had Brittany thinking the story was something that it wasn't. You're an alcoholic and did the most for the least. You swung, and when I connected, you looked stupider than the first time you came around us. No one knows you. Your claim to fame is your baby daddy who is happily married. And then Jennifer adds, please don't forget, she then got her entire wig snatched after all that. Someone admit her to rehab quickly. Hashtag pill popping alcoholic. Hashtag looking for a moment. Hashtag got a two-piece and was wigless. Brooke then goes on to say, Cleana, enjoyed these tweets, cause ho, you got clipped, punched in your ish, and look like a fish out of water. Wig snatched, you're an angry bird. Then she says, y'all need media training. Rule number 1, never do an interview promoting other people. Your life is so irrelevant that you have to discuss the OGs. Yawn. I'm tired of hoes playing with me. I'm built different. It's not an insult or physical altercation that can defeat me. B, I've been through the worst. It's not one B that can bully, intimidate, or make me feel less than. Get your 15 minutes and move around. Oh, Lord, have mercy. The tension is thick on Basketball Wives, baby. Let me know if y'all going to be watching it tomorrow night. I know I will. I mean, and if you don't watch it, definitely come on over to the channel so we can have a ponderosa about what you missed. And I can tell you whether or not you need to be watching these things or not. All I know is it's literally going down in the streets right now. And I'm like, what is happening on this good Sunday? Okay. But a case could be made that this is reality TV stars doing their job and getting the folks amped up for these shows. All promo is good promo. Is that correct? Let me know down in the chatterization down below what your thoughts are, because we're getting a lot of tea before the actual tea party even starts. All right. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next video. So I'm Richie Skye, the author and publisher of The Wickedest Wives, Desiree's Desire, which is book 1 in a series. This book is about redemption. It's the story of a disgraced journalist who has lost everything. And now she has to rebuild her life brick by brick. And what better way to do that than to join a reality TV show? Why not? Now, not only are we talking reality TV, so you know there's going to be scandal, you know there's going to be a little bit of deception, backstabbing, a little romance, and why not throw in a sprinkle of murder to really round out the excitement? So I really want you guys to dive headfirst into these books. Desiree's Desire is just the first of many to come. So I'm super excited for you guys to read this, and I want to know exactly what you think. So be sure to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.